Hello friends, this is Ken's Guitar Giveaway number 2, and today I'm featuring a 1987 Kramer Ferrington acoustic electric bass guitar. The model number is a KFB-1, and this guitar is a all laminate construction guitar. If you watched my first giveaway video, I explained how some companies use lamination as a strategy to cut cost on their instruments, and this is one of those kind of guitars. The top is shown in the catalog as Spruce, but it's actually filler wood veneered with spruce on the front and on the back. So this laminated top is not exactly a very resonant top. It also features laminated mahogany back and sides. It features a very fast and beautiful three-piece maple, thin maple neck. And what makes this instrument very rare is its fretless fretboard. So it's made out of rosewood, and it has fret markings in here so that novices like me can play this bass without getting lost. It also features a rosewood bridge, and because of the rosewood, this is one of those CITES, sites restricted export instruments. So if you live overseas outside of Japan and you'd like to take ownership of this instrument, it's going to take some additional documentation as well as cost to get this to you. If you're one of those people who travel to Japan frequently and you'd like this instrument, I'm willing to hold on to this instrument for 1 year, and you can hand carry it back to whatever country you're from, and you should be able to hand carry it as your own instrument, and it should be fine. If you live in Japan, of course, you can pick up this instrument, or I can send it to you by Sagawa Cubing or Kuroneko Yamato. And shipping guitars in Japan is still relatively inexpensive, and it gets there in 2 days. So, so if you live in Japan, that's something that you might want to consider. The beautiful black finish is really striking with the white bindings. I really like that. I tried to keep it as original as possible, but let's take a look at the physical condition of this guitar first before I tell you about the details of the work I've had to do on this instrument. Let's take a look. Another player grade instrument from my fold. This Kramer Ferrington has that very cool banana headstock and the logo. 4 black tuners, original tuners. The nut here is cracked right there, but I'm not planning on fixing that as it's holding the strings down. You can see I've got it strung with flat wound strings. This is a fretless, but it does have a fretless bass markers there to help you know about where to press the strings down. The position markers are also in good shape, and we've got this nice Kramer inlay right there. Got a little bit of a ding. I don't know if you can see that right there. A couple of dings on the body and a few scratches, but nothing really serious. I'll talk a little bit more about the pick guard that I have placed on there. It has a thumb rest right there. I think you can see that. The bridge, when I got this instrument, the bridge already had peeled off and caused some damage down here, so I had to repair it. So there's a bunch of repair marks down there. You can see that a little bit of the paint repainted on top there. But that's what the front of this Kramer Ferrington fretless acoustic electric bass looks like. From the back, you can see that the body bindings are really classy looking. On this black body, the white bindings look very, very cool. The banana headstock The back of the headstock is very clean, and the tuners are old, but they are still working really well. I did have to replace the E string tuner to new ones, but I did replace it with the original style ones, so very cool. Neck is very fast, very easy to play, thin neck, and of course you have the Kramer neck back plate here, right? Very cool, isn't it? It says Neptune, New Jersey, USA, but this guitar is actually made in Korea, as you can tell right there. There is a bit of a scratch there, and also a few little scratches on the bottom of the guitar. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right there and right there. But that's about it. It's in pretty clean shape. Let's take a look at the sides. So this is the right side of this guitar. If you're a right-handed player, this is the side that faces down away from you as you're playing. You can see the 1/4-inch output jack there. And as we crest this waist area, you can see that there's a few dings there. Those white little dots are dings. Actually, other than that, the side is looking pretty good. Once you get to no big scratches or dings on the horns, and this neck block area is very solid. It's a bolt-on neck, but it connects very well to this very thin and fast maple neck, and there's no damages or scratches or dings on the neck itself, so the side of the neck looks good too. This is the left side of this guitar. Nice white binding on a black body, very cool. If you're a right-handed player, this is the side that's looking up at you. Can you see the top of the body, the top right there, underneath there? You can see that the body is raised up a little bit. So the soundboard is warped in that area. It doesn't affect the play, doesn't have any structural integrity problems per se, but it is warped just a little bit, so keep that in mind. Other than that, this side is pretty clean. You can see the TC Electronics original preamp. Had to replace a few electronic parts on it, but it is working really well. And of course you have the strap button right there. Again, very strong, solid neck joint in the body. And the guitar neck is also very clean. There's a little bit of binding discoloration, but other than that, the neck is in really good shape. Beautiful, very fast, thin, fretless guitar, fretless bass neck. This bass comes with a gig bag that has ESP marked on it. ESP actually, I think, was the distributor of Kramer guitars way back when, and that's why their case has ESP on it. You can see that there's a tear in the pocket right here. That's a pretty significant tear. Right there and also down here, so two places. The buttons and the flaps work real good. Inside is very clean, as you can see. There's no tears on the inside, just a little bit of discoloration right there. The zippers work fine. And let me unzip this all the way to the back there. And the inside of this case, if you can see, is cushioned very nicely. It won't hold up to international shipping, so I'll have to really, if I ship it overseas, I'll have to put it in a nice box and pack it really well. It comes with a nice strap right here. The strap is old, but it's not necessarily in bad shape either. You can see that the back of this case, it has a little bit of a ding there. Other than that, this gig bag is in really good shape, considering the age of the guitar, especially the sides look good. No tears in the sides, no tears in the bottom. And So when I put the bass in here and zip it up, it's in pretty good shape. So hold on a second. So if you're traveling, like traveling and not doing anything real extravagant, this gig bag will protect this instrument very, very well. Let me share with you how I came to cross paths with this Kramer bass. I came to be in possession of this bass about 15 years ago. A friend of mine bought this bass new about 20 years before that, and he played it for about 15 years. And in the last year, the bridge actually peeled off, tore off the top of this bass, and in the process, it caused a crack to go down the face of the soundboard, and the bass became unplayable. So he put it back in the gig bag, and he kind of stored it away for 5 years and just forgot about the bass. And 5 years later, when he opened the bass up, the bass was in really, really bad condition. The TC Electronics preamp was completely rusted. The Shadow piezo pickup, Shadow is a British company, but the piezo pickup for this bass, there were no replacement piezos available from Shadow. And the output jack was messed up, and one of the tuning pegs up here was completely rusted, and the bass became totally unplayable. So my friend brought it to me and basically told me I can do whatever I want with the bass, and I didn't want to be a freeloader, so I paid him a little bit of money, and I decided to see what I can do to actually make this bass playable again. I looked at the torn off bridge, and that's why I can tell that this laminated spruce top is actually one of those cost savings measures, kind of cheap spruce tops, really cheap filler wood, sandwiched between two spruce veneers on the front and the back. And that's why when the bridge tore off, the top also cracked along with that. It was really, really in bad shape. So I had to kind of do some repairs to the top before I re-glued this bridge on. But fortunately, the repairs held. Also, I shimmed the crack here and fixed the crack. And that's been sealed and has not moved since I fixed it. I originally had even considered replacing the whole soundboard with a brand new top. But I decided to take a little bit of an easier route to repair this. I completely put in a new output jack, and I had to take out the TC Electronics preamp. The case was completely rusted. A couple of resistors and a capacitor needed to be replaced, so I replaced those. And the preamp came alive again, and so I completely took everything apart, kind of rust-proofed the casing, and then I painted it black. I was able to find an original Kramer tuning peg to replace the rusted one that wasn't moving, and I put it all back together. Oh, and I also had to buy an aftermarket piezo that's wider than the original Shadow piezo, so I had to route out a wider hole in the bridge to actually be able to seat the saddle in the correct position. This aftermarket piezo came with a short cable, and it needs to reach all the way over here. It's long, and this bass, of course, is really big, so I had to extend that cable, and I was able to do that. And when I put it all back together, it actually worked. So that was really, really cool. And there was a couple of cosmetic things that I needed to think about and do. And one was I repaired the crack underneath this scratch plate. If I was going to make it really clean and not put a scratch plate on there, I was going to have to repaint the whole top black and then shoot it with some clear polyurethane and then buff it out and stuff like that. So I didn't want to go through all that trouble. So I just decided to use some automotive carbon fiber copy stickers that you use to like cover mirrors. And I use that as a scratch plate. And so it you know, it doesn't really look that great, but it actually covers the cosmetic flaws underneath here. Also, the nut right here is broken on the first string down at the bottom of this bass. But the cracked nut does not affect the playability, nor does the actual string pop out of the nut. So I just kind of left it that way. I'm sure you can find an aftermarket nut that'll fit this just fine. But I just chose not to bother with that. Everything plays pretty nicely. I do have this guitar strung up with flat wound strings. And you can use round wound strings on this, but if you use round wound strings and you play hard on this, since it is a fretless bass, the round wound strings can actually put dents in the Rosewood fingerboard. It's a beautiful fingerboard, a beautiful fretless, rare fingerboard, so I didn't want to do that. So I keep using flat wound strings on this bass, and I would recommend if you decide that you're interested in this bass to make sure that you use flat wound strings on this bass. I also put a thumb rest on this bass right here. Some of my friends who have played this bass told me I put the thumb rest in the wrong place. It fits my playing just fine, but it's kind of glued on there, so if you kind of want to change the thumb rest position, you can take it off, but there's gonna be a spot of glue there that will need to be buffed out, so that's something to consider also. But other than that, this bass is in pretty good playable condition. So let's hear how this Kramer Ferrington bass sounds. So how does this Kramer bass actually sound? Well, because this laminated spruce top is not very resonant, it is not a very acoustically impressive instrument. As a matter of fact, it kind of sounds dead, like this. Right? That same deadness, however, actually helps when you hook this bass up to a PA system or play it through a bass amplifier with volume. It actually holds the feedback levels down. Right now I've got this Kramer bass hooked up to a guitar amplifier, so it's not going to do this bass justice, but it will show you that the piezos are working, and it'll kind of give you an idea of how this bass sounds when you got it hooked up to an amplifier. Right now this TC Electronics preamp, which came with the original bass, originally came with this bass, the treble is set to 2, the bass is set to 8. I'm going to set the volume right now up to 5 so you can hear how this bass sounds played through a guitar amplifier. Oh, and this preamp is actually active, so you have a 9-volt battery that you have to hook up to this thing. It sounds like this. Driving bass line on this sounds like this. slap might sound something like this. So this D'Addario strap I will include with my bass. It has D'Addario's patented strap lock system, and this strap will lock onto any standard guitar or bass that has a normal strap button on it. The way it works is, you notice that it's pretty large here, and you just slide this lever on top over and you notice that it becomes small. And so it locks on to your instrument and keeps your instrument from falling off of your shoulders. So if I want to lock this, I'm going to put this on my Kramer bass right now. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to slide it right into place. And I'm going to move that lever over. And now it's completely locked. And I'll do the same up here. I'll put it right in. And I'll move the lever, and now it's completely locked. And I can jump up and down with this bass, and this bass ain't going anywhere. So this strap is included with this Kramer bass guitar.